business headlines. So let's bring in our money man, America's accountant, accounting professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. You do have a long title sometimes. I can't get it right.
I like it,
I need more coffee. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So let's get all right. So the markets, they ended on the week on a high note, right? They continue to set records after records, but the market's doing well when it seems like high prices and we've got inflation, the average American, people are wondering, like, what's going on? Are we going backwards? Is this what's supposed to happen?
Well, people may think just because we're in an inflationary period that the stock market, because that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Inflation, bad thing. The stock market should be going down, but it's actually the opposite, because if you're going to put your money, and I know you have plenty of it, in your bank, you're not earning very much. And with inflation going up, it means you're actually falling behind. So what you need to do is go somewhere where you get a high return. And really the only place you can do that is the stock market.
Makes sense.
So the stock market is getting much more money. More buyers means value goes up.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I need to get some money to put it in the stock market first.
I think you're doing okay.
All right, well, speaking of money, help is really wanted. So the jobs market, it's wide open as employers are now requiring a degree, work experience, or not requiring the degree of work experience, or even background checks. Dan, how can how can businesses get people back to work after, being remote? I mean, look, there's so many incentives out there right now to be, employed, essentially.
Well, this is a big argument I've had with Seth Denson, our friend, right?
Yes.
Because I have said that I believe that work remote is here to stay, and that's how it's going to be. He believes that people are going to go back. But if he were right, of course, all these businesses wouldn't have to make all these incentives. So I believe, and I understand that a lot of employers want people to come back. In order to get them back, they're going to have to offer them things that they're not getting at home.
Yeah.
When you're just sitting at your computer. And that is to offer some type of person-to-person socialization, to really include people in strategy where they can be face-to-face. And that's the way you can do it. But I still believe we're going to be in a hybrid situation. And look, businesses are desperate. So they're saying, listen, no background check. You don't need an education. Just, can you work? Are you free? Come on in.
I know. I see even just, trucking companies are offering truck drivers an insane amount of money just to drive trucks because they need truck drivers. So, look, it's a good time if you're trying to find a job, for sure.
It's an excellent time, which makes you wonder why there are 7.5 million people on unemployment.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. So meantime, Berkshire Hathaway, they reported an operating income of $6.47 billion in the third quarter. That's rising 18% from $5.48 billion in the same quarter a year ago. At the end of September, the Oracle Warren Buffett's cash pile reached a record $149.2 billion. The record amount of cash came despite Berkshire's aggressive share buybacks. Your thoughts on this?
Well, that just goes to show you that Warren Buffett is not leaving his money in a savings account, right?
There you go.
So he's playing the market. Look, he's an incredibly intelligent man and frugal, by the way. And he's making the right moves. He knows exactly how the market moves, and clearly when you're investing with him, you're doing well.
Yeah, he's pretty smart. So investing, let's talk about investing in a car. So this Ford Maverick, they say the 2022 Maverick, it's about the length of a Toyota full-size sedan, but it's far cheaper. It's already succeeding in attracting new, younger female buyers to the company. About a quarter of buyers are female, compared to nearly 90% being male for the overall truck market, Ford said. Now, a quarter also are between the ages of 18 and 35, double the industry average for that age group, Dan. This surprises me.
Well, in looking at this, and they're saying that women are purchasing more of these Ford Mavericks. Do you see yourself?
I don't know. I don't know where
Maverick?
I can put my kids.
Well,
you gotta go
you
in the
put
back.
them in the back. Yeah,
strap them in. Give them an extra blanket.
Extra blanket. Well, no, don't even strap them in. Just let them hang on.
Yeah.
No, it's really interesting because pickup trucks or those types of vehicles, I guess they're kind of a hybrid, are getting really, really popular.
Yeah.
And when they're priced that people can afford it, well, you're going to have people going out and getting them, and people like yourself, put the kids in the back and go.
Soon my oldest will be driving, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, then you'll be in the back.
There we go. All right. Well, Elon Musk, he's asking his $62.5 million followers on Twitter to determine the future of the chunk of his Tesla holdings. Twitter polls are, however, they're pretty informal, but Musk previously said he was likely to sell a, quote, huge block of his options in the fourth quarter. So he's an interesting character, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is. And you know what's interesting, right? He was taking some heat from the United Nations, I believe, saying, well, listen, he can donate, I think it was $6 billion it was, to be able to solve world hunger.
Yeah.
So she said, well, prove it to me, and I'll sell off Tesla's stock, and I'll solve the world hunger problem. So, I mean, clearly, he's got enough money to give away, and if he's looking for, people or causes, I don't know. How about the Alison Maloni fund?
There we go. Well, maybe he can give us some bigger turkeys. Finally, crying foul, a smaller turkey is on the table with record inflation driving up food costs. According to a recent survey conducted by Finance Buzz, 63% of Americans say the rising cost of food will impact their plans for the annual holiday dinner. Between COVID-19, labor and supply chain shortages, rising prices, 24% of those surveyed said they are prepared to scale back on the amount of food they're going to make during the holiday or cut back on the number of guests they'll invite to dinner, the survey said. So only a couple seconds to chat about this. But Dan, you going to get a big turkey or is it a small turkey?
I'm going to eat a lot of turkey. I don't know if it'll be a big turkey.
Yeah.
Whatever's there, I'm eating.
All right. Well, if I'm working, I'm coming over.
Come on over. Absolutely.
Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Allie.
weekend.